Okay, class, we're going to set up the second DNS server. So I'm going to go to eDNS2. I'm going to click on Tools, DNS Server. We already configured the IP address. We already changed the name. We already installed the software. So I'm going to go to eDNS2, and I'm going to click on Forward. I'm going to say New Zone. Now on eDNS1, we created a primary zone, and that's a read-write copy. On eDNS2, we're going to create a secondary zone. This is a read-only copy. We won't be able to add records to this DNS server. The zone name, just like on the first one, will be called Contoso. Now it's asking, what is the master DNS server? Don't confuse the term master with primary. A primary is a read-write copy of DNS. A secondary is a read-only zone of DNS. A master is who I copy from. I can copy from a primary, or I could copy from another secondary. So don't confuse the term with master and primary. A primary is read-write. A secondary is read-only. A master is the server I copy it from, which could be a primary or a secondary. So in this case, I'm going to copy from eDNS 1. Click Next, then Finish. If you get this red X, try to right-click, Transfer from Master. Then refresh. I didn't invent this technology, it's just weird. So we didn't type any of this information on this server. We just copied it over from the other server. I'm going to go to eDNS1. I'm on eDNS1 now. If I right-click here, I have the ability to create new records. So this is new host record, new alias, new mail exchange. I'll go into that later. So if I go to eDNS2 and right-click, I don't have the ability to say new. So I can't add new records to this DNS server. If I want new records here, I have to go to eDNS1, and I'm going to create a new record. Right-click, a new host record. I'll explain what that is later. So I'm going to create a fake record. When I go to eDNS2, and let me show you something else before I go to eDNS2. Under Start of Authority, you'll see that it incremented to 6 now. So if I go to eDNS2 and right-click the zone, it's now on 6. So if I just refresh it, it'll be there. There's my new record. So we don't have to create the records here. You create them on the primary, then they'll get copied to all the secondaries. I could have one primary, and then the second server could be a secondary. So in that case, I would transfer from the primary to the first secondary. Then I'm going to have another one as a backup, which could be another secondary. So the second secondary would transfer from the first secondary. The first secondary would transfer from the primary. So you could have like a chain of DNS servers. So I'm going to do the same thing with the reverse. I'm going to create a new zone. It's going to be a secondary zone, a read-only copy. It's going to be for an IPv4 network. And that's the network ID. It's going to put it in reverse format, which I haven't explained yet. I'm going to transfer it from eDNS 1. When you type in the IP here, you have to click on the white box before you can click Next. Then Finish. And the same thing. Transfer from master. Then refresh. You might have to do that 2 or 3 times. Okay, so now we have 2 DNS servers. This one is read-only. This one is read-write, where we make changes, where we add new records, things like that. And when we do, they'll be copied over to eDNS 2. If eDNS 1 goes down, eDNS 2 will still continue to resolve names for clients until we get eDNS 1 back up. Okay, that's it for this video. Thank you.